Hi, I'm Rebekah, and today's Hebrew vocab word is the word Elohim. And today, I'd like you to join me on a little detective work to discover what the Hebrew word Elohim means, and what the word God means. Here we go. I know it's a little bit hard, but Elohim refers to the Godhead, or the three of them, or the Trinity, or Yahshua, Yahshua, the Ruach HaKodesh. All three of them together is Elohim. When most people talk about the Trinity, they say God. When most people talk about the Father, they say God. When most people talk about Jesus, they also say God. Talk about confusing and unclear, not to mention a little dull and blah. When writing the word God, Christians will capitalize the word to try to make a distinction between the pagan deities and the God they're speaking of, the Creator. Well, this is not exactly making the kind of distinction that Papa asks us to make, so let me help. First, neither of the words God nor Elohim are the name of our God. We've already learned in previous videos that the name of the Father is Yehovah or Yahweh, the name of the Son is Yahshua HaMashiach, the name of the Spirit, or the title of the Spirit, I should say, is the Ruach HaKodesh. But I don't think people really think this through, though most of them know this when I ask them about it. But by using the word God or Lord, they're really just using a title. So most people understand that God and Lord are titles, but they use it as if it's his name. Using God or Lord to speak of them is wrong. God and Lord are titles, just like postman or teacher or king or grocer or mommy or lawyer or firefighter. Those are all titles, and those are titles that describe a job position. These are words that describe what that person does for work. So let's talk just a little bit about the word God, because we're going to replace the word God with the Hebrew word Elohim. Now I choose to use the word Elohim in the place of God when I want to refer to the Trinities or their job position. Because for one thing, the Hebrew Scriptures uses that word. And for another, the word Elohim has deeper meaning than the word God, which David James Duncan says is just dog spelled backwards. But for another thing, the word God is actually the name of a Babylonian pagan deity, and I am so sorry. I know. It's just everywhere. I'm so sorry. It's just paganism is everywhere. But really, it actually is the name of a Babylonian pagan deity. Check it out. In Isaiah 65:11, he says, "But you are those who forsake Yahweh, who forget my holy mountain, who array a table for God, G-A-W-D, and who fill mixed wine for Mimi." I think that's how you say it. The Hebraic Roots Bible says that Mini is the deity of fate and God is the Babylonian deity of fortune. Isn't that kind of how how we use the word God when we pray? We kind of pray as if we're praying to a deity of fortune. He has fortunes, and we want some of it. He is seen to be able to bestow favor, comfort, and good things, and we want him to do that for us. We want an upswing in our lives, our circumstances and our positions and our state of affairs. We want those to change for the better. Don't we all hope that our fate or our destiny or our luck will change when we pray to God? We want God to give us favorable answers. I believe that we are actually playing the game of fortune with this God when we pray in this way. We have actually been trained, even though we didn't know it, to send our request to this pagan deity of fortune. Dear God, please find my lost kitty. Dear God, please help me get the job position that I want. Or, dear God, please take away my depression and heal me. And then the really insane prayers like, God, please bless and cause this GMO food that I know is GMO food to not hurt me. Or God bless America, or in God we trust, or God help the 49ers to win, or God help me win the lottery, or God help snow to fall, or whatever. Yes, we are to pour our hearts out to Papa. He wants us to do that. He is a good dad and he wants to hear what's on your heart. We are to bring our request before the King of the universe, before Yahshua Elohim. Remember how Jacob wrestled with Yahweh and wouldn't let go until he was given a blessing? Or just look at how King David would pour out his heart to Yahweh, to Papa, and he was blessed for it. And of course, the scriptures don't say that we shouldn't ask for what we want. In fact, Yahshua said his priests can ask for anything in his name and it will be done. Okay, I'm still learning exactly what he meant by that. As in, did he really mean anything? Or is this to be for issues regarding other-centered love and kingdom expansion issues? I'm not sure yet. I'm still growing. But basically, Yahweh wants to be our go-to deity. He wants to answer our prayers and then get credit for it. So we must be proactive about who we are asking to get help from. Also, remember that Yahshua taught us how to pray, and in the prayer that he taught us, he never once invoked the pagan deity God in that prayer. It is actually necessary to read that prayer, the Lord's Prayer, in Hebrew because it actually is a little different than you've been taught. It's nothing like most of our prayers we send out to God in the morning when we slide out of bed and we just hope to have a good day. Yahshua did not teach us to pray a wish list. The prayer that Yahshua taught us to pray is on subjects that I bet most of us rarely think about, let alone put in any of our prayers. Topics like forgiving others, or sanctifying the name, or blessing his kingdom, or requesting protection from evil, or requesting to not be brought into a test, etc., etc. Yahweh is not a fairy godmother who doles out party favors like the pagan deity God is believed to do. No, doling out wishes is something that Yahweh will do someday when paradise is restored. And I know that they are so excited to be able to restore to us all the things that have been stolen from us. And that is going to be a wonderful, beautiful day. And it may feel a little bit like Cinderella and the fairy godmother. But for now, Yahweh Elohim is primarily concerned with your covenant status. Did you hear me? He is primarily concerned with your covenant status. As in, are you in covenant or are you not? Why? Because if you're not in covenant, then he won't be able to dole out good things and gifts to you in paradise restored because you won't be there. First things first. First, he has to get you in covenant. So our prayers will automatically change when the job position of the one that we're praying to changes from Santa Claus to covenant maker, from God to Yahweh Elohim, from what can you do for me and what can you give me to what do you want me to do and what can I do for you. And then when you make requests to Yahweh and he answers them, then you give credit where credit is due. You don't credit God, you credit Yehovah. It is very important who you are praying to. We don't want to be invoking a pagan deity. We want to be talking to Yehovah. So if you're trying to speak about the creator of the universe, use his name. Be specific. I harp on this because it is so important to be specific about who you want to get help from, because the demons do so much counterfeiting. That's Hasatan's specialty. Now a little bit about the word Elohim. So Elohim can refer to all deities, good and bad. Like I said, it's kind of like the title of a job position. But did you know that Elohim means the mighty ones? It is the plural form of El, which means mighty one. So unlike the word God, Elohim indicates that there is more than one in this grand, mighty family. There is Yahuwah, the Father, there is Yahshua, the Son, and then there's the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit. And they are the mighty ones. So I think that the word Elohim expresses the beauty of the three of them working together to do marvelous things in a much better way than God could ever do. This word Elohim describes them better because they are the mighty ones. They are the original superheroes. And in this day and age, we are so fascinated with superheroes because we're in desperate situations. The end of the age is coming down and people need a Messiah and they're looking to superheroes for it. And all that desire inside for these superheroes is just awakening the desire for Yehovah and for Yehovah Elohim to come save us. But these are the superheroes that are the true superheroes. These are the ones that you want to be speaking of and proclaiming and glorifying and worshiping. These are the ones that you want to put posters up in your room about and draw about and speak of and dream about and go see movies on. These are the original superheroes, Yehovah Elohim. They are the mighty ones. So I use the word Elohim when I want to refer to the three of them together. I used to say Trinity, now I use the word Elohim. Also, something interesting that in the Hebrew scriptures you will find that the writers identify which Elohim they're speaking of in this way. They will put Yehovah Elohim when they want to describe who and what Elohim they're talking about. And in the creation account you find the first mention of this. Yahweh Elohim who creates. And if you remember, after Abraham successfully rescued Lot, the king of Sodom came to Abraham and he offered him a lot of things. And Abraham said, no, I don't want any of your stuff. And he says, because remember, he's talking to a pagan king who knows nothing about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He knows nothing about the Creator. So Abraham makes it very clear which Elohim he's talking about. So he says, I have raised my hand to Yehovah, Elohim Most High, Creator of heaven and earth. So he defines which Elohim he's talking about, Yehovah Elohim, but then he continues on by clarifying it even further, saying Creator of heaven and earth, because this pagan king had no idea who he was talking about. So Abraham wanted to be very specific. And when the Melchizedek priest comes to Abraham, and Abraham gives him a tenth of all he has, this Melchizedek priest and Abraham were on the same page. They knew which Elohim they were talking about. They're on the same page, so the Melchizedek priest doesn't bother to say Yehovah Elohim because they're both speaking about the same Elohim. So it's really important to clarify which Elohim, which God you're speaking of when you're talking to people, because not everybody's on the same page as you. So, it's important to clarify which Elohim you're speaking of. If you're speaking of the only living Creator, His Son and Spirit, then say Yehovah Elohim. But remember, no matter how much you want it to mean what you want it to mean, we cannot sanctify the word God simply by capitalizing it. It is what it is. And once revealed and understood, then you have to make a decision as to how far away from Babylon you want to get. Now, when you hear me say Elohim, you'll know what I'm talking about. I am speaking about the three of them together. I'm talking about the Godhead, the Trinity, all three of them, Yehovah, Yahshua, and the Ruach. Yehovah, Yahshua, and the Ruach. All together, they are Elohim. So practice saying Elohim with me now. All right, here we go. Elohim. 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 It's a little tricky. I do it a little bit. I have Elohim, so I have a little bit of an accent in there. Elohim. I'm kind of rolling that last syllable. Elohim. But you don't have to do that. Elohim. Elohim. Very good. Okay, so for my favorite part of the videos, application. So we're going to apply this word to our life. There's no reason to learn something unless you go and apply it, right? Of course. So we have discussed the name of the Father and the Son and the title of the Spirit in other videos. Now, when you want to refer to all three of them, instead of saying the Trinity or God, you can say Elohim. And then anywhere in the scriptures that you see the word God with a capital G, now you can replace that word with the word Elohim. The beautiful word Elohim. That means the mighty ones. Mighty ones. Oh yeah. They could be your superhero. Oh yeah. So thank you for joining me on this little detective work today, and I hope you have a wonderful superhero sort of evening. Bye-bye.